The air in courtroom 7 was thick with tension, and the smell of old floor wax, so heavy you could almost feel it. Elena sat at the defense table, a small, lonely figure in a simple cotton dress. Her fingers were laced so tightly that her knuckles were as white as the marble columns just outside the courtroom doors. Across the aisle, her husband, Mark, a real estate mogul who wore his arrogance like a designer suit, leaned back with a smirk that practically screamed untouchable. His lawyer, a man known in legal circles as the Great White Shark, had just spent the last hour meticulously dismantling Elena's life. He painted her as a penniless trophy wife, someone who contributed absolutely nothing to Mark's billions. And in a way, he'd made sure that's how she appeared. Mark had frozen every bank account, seized every car, and left Elena to arrive at court crammed onto a public bus. To the world, she looked like a woman, already defeated. When the judge asked if she had any representation, Mark didn't even try to hide his mocking laughter. He whispered, just loud enough for the whole gallery to hear. The judge's gavel was halfway to the block, ready to seal Elena's fate, when the heavy oak doors at the back of the room were thrown open with a force that sounded like a thunderclap. Every single head in the courtroom turned. A woman in a sharp, ivory silk suit stepped into the room. Her presence was so commanding that the old ceiling fan seemed to slow down in her wake. She didn't just walk, she marched with the authority of a general. Trailing behind her were 3 junior associates, each carrying leather briefcases that looked like they held the secrets of the universe. Mark's smirk vanished instantly. His face went pale, replaced by a look of pure, unadulterated terror. He knew that face. Everyone in the Nigerian legal system knew that face. It was Lady Catherine Cole, a legendary senior advocate who had supposedly retired to London after a long, storied career. This was the woman who had put corrupt politicians and corporate titans behind bars. She was the one lawyer even the Great White Shark feared. A woman who didn't just win cases, she erased her opponents. As she reached the front of the courtroom, Catherine didn't look at the judge or the opposing counsel. Her eyes, as cold and sharp as a surgeon's scalpel, were locked directly on Mark. She dropped a massive stack of documents onto the table with a thud that echoed like a death knell. "Apologies for the delay, my lord," she said, her voice a rich, velvety boom that filled every corner of the room. "I was busy at the central bank uncovering the 4 billion naira Mr. Odi forgot to mention in his financial disclosure the funds he has been funneling into a shell company in the Cayman Islands for the past 3 years. Mark's lawyer scrambled to his feet, stammering about procedural errors and improper filings. But Catherine just waved him away like a bothersome fly. She turned to Elena, placing a protective hand on her shoulder. And for the first time all day, Elena's chin rose. A spark of defiance lit up her eyes. You see, Catherine wasn't just some surprise attorney Elena had hired. She was the mother Elena had been estranged from for a decade. She was the powerful woman Elena had left behind to seek a simple life. A life far from the brutal world of high-stakes law she had grown up in. But that simple life had become a gilded cage. And now, her mother was here to tear it down. The next hour was nothing short of a surgical dismantling of Mark's life. Catherine presented evidence that showed Elena wasn't just a housewife. She was the silent architect behind Mark's 3 most successful real estate developments, proving that his empire was built on her intellectual labor. Catherine laid out blueprints Elena had drafted, business plans she had written, and emails where Mark praised her brilliant ideas before taking credit for them himself. Then came the knockout blow. Catherine revealed GPS logs and bank statements, showing that Mark had used marital funds to purchase a luxury penthouse in Paris for a business associate, an associate who just happened to be his mistress. The evidence was irrefutable. By the time Catherine was finished, Mark wasn't just losing a divorce case. He was facing multiple counts of perjury and financial fraud. The Great White Shark looked like a goldfish gasping for air, as the judge ordered the immediate seizure of all of Mark's assets to ensure Elena received her rightful and substantial share. Mark slumped in his chair. A broken man in an expensive suit, the arrogance was gone, replaced by the hollow look of a man who had just lost everything. Catherine leaned down and whispered into Elena's ear, but she said it just loud enough for the trembling Mark to hear. "I told you, darling, the problem with men who think they are gods is that they eventually forget they are actually just mortals with very sloppy paperwork." What a powerful story of justice and family. It really makes you think about the hidden contributions people make in their relationships. Thanks for watching. And if you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like and subscribe for more. See you next time.